Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Julia Sari Tirta, number 124 from class B. Welcome to my video, and in this video I want to explain about Figurative Speech of Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. Nothing Gold Can Stay is a short poem by Robert Frost, written in 1923 and published in the Yale Review in October of that year. And the content of this poem is like this. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leaves of flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sang to grief. So down goes down today, nothing gold can stay. Let's talk about Robert Frost. Robert Lee Frost, born in March 26, 1874, was an American poet. His work was initially published in England before it was published in the United States. Known from his realistic depictions of rural life and his comment of American colloquial speech, Frost frequently wrote about settings from rural life in New England in the early 20th century, using them to examine complex social and philosophical themes. This poem structure is very simple, and this poem structure is very simple. It is an iambic meter with 4 couplets A, B, C, C, and D. Okay, let's go to the heart of this presentation. Is analysis figurative speech of Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. First, nature's first green is gold. This poem begins with a simple statement: nature's first green refers to spring. Frost is saying that spring is beautiful, especially after the death of winter. It is worth as much as gold. Frost used the word first to foreshadow the change from spring to summer. Her hardest hue to hold. The use of the word her is a personification of nature, and the word hardest again foreshadows a change of spring to summer. The hue is green as explained in the first line. This line is used by Frost to emphasize the point that nature is always changing. The alliteration of her hardest hue to hold also emphasized the point that nature is always changing and spring only brief. Her early leaves of flower. This line is a fact and a metaphor. Literally, the flowers of trees in spring turn into leaves in the summer. Metaphorically, Frost is saying that the beginning of the nature is as beautiful as flower again. We see the personification of nature with the word her, but only so an hour. This line refers to nature's early leaves from the previous line. The use of the word but marks the point that the foreshadowing was hinted. At the words only an hour, exaggerate the idea that nothing is forever and the seasons are always changing. Then leaf subside to leaf. This line adds on the previous one that is used to continue the fact of the previous line. Nature is always changing. The use of the word subsides continues the feeling of constant change through. Eden sang to grief. This line is an allusion to the story of creation in the Bible as nature slowly changed from spring to winter. Eden goes from the Caribbean, the cradle of humanity, to a place long forgotten. The Garden of Eden is also used as a metaphor for Mother Nature. The imagery of this line makes the grieving process of nature temporarily and always changing. So down goes down today. This line emphasizes the constant changing of nature. The repeat use of the word so reminds the reader of the previous line and the constant changing of nature. The use of the word goes down makes the change of down today a digression and that nature is always changing for better or worse. The alliteration of down goes down today also emphasizes the point that nature is always changing. Nothing gold can stay. This final line concludes the poem with phrase point nature is always changing. Gold is a symbol for all things beautiful, important, and valued. The use of the word nothing gives this line a strong conclusion that there has been no exceptions and the change of nature is inevitable. The main poetic device used in Nothing Good Can Stay by Robert Frost is personification. Metaphor, alliteration, imagery, paradox, and allusion is used several times in this poem. Nature's first green symbol, spring cold, symbolizes good things that are important and have a lot of value to them. The Garden of Eden symbols nature like many other Robert Frost poems, and this poem used personification. In this, nature is personified as mother like Mother Nature. The metaphor is also used in this poem. In the first line, nature's first green, which we know is a symbol for spring, is compared to gold, which we know is a symbol for it of importance and value. Alliteration is used twice in this poem. In line 2, there's an alliteration for her heart is you to hold, and in line 7, in the medium of alliteration, down goes down today. Imagery is also used in this poem. Through the poem, the reader pictures gradual change in nature as the seasons change. First, there is a sprouting of flowers as winter changes into spring, then the vibrant colors of spring and flowers subside into leaves of summer. There is also a paradox in line 3. A leaf cannot be a flower. However, after a closer inspection, the reader realizes that is a metaphor. There is also an allusion to the Garden of Eden in line 6, where Eden is personified as Mother Nature. All of this literally device emphasize the meaning of the poem and help the reader to understand what Frost is teaching. But what does Frost try to convey when he's talking about this rural landscape? He's teaching the reader that change is inevitable, especially in nature. He's also trying to convey that good things cannot happen without bad things. Also, as spring is very great, and so summer there has two bad things to even it out to make life worth it. Everything must be held in moderation, even the season. Thank you. Enough from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.